For years, the goal was simple: survive and escape the island. And when they did, everything changed, and not for the better. And here's why. But before we talk about why leaving the island caused such a fuss, we need to give some backstory. We started off season 1, episode 1, with them getting trapped on an island. One that looked like it was escapable, one that looked real, like just a normal island. Which turned out to be a mysterious island. Turned out to be an island where they could not get off. They tried escaping several times. They built a raft. They tried to escape. Michael and his son went on it, and then some locals shot it down and it sank, and they got dragged back into shore. They tried to put writing on the sands to try to advertise local planes and helicopters flying over to their location. That did not work. They tried everything to try to get out and leave, and when one opportunity arose of the boat on the shore where 2 people landed on the island, seemed to be the perfect situation. However, when they turned out to be bad people, they soon ditched that idea too. It looked inevitable that these guys would never escape the island. That moment was the moment that Penny's boat landed on the seas outside the island. Desmond knew she was there, and they made headways to try to make a connection so that the people on the island were able to be found, and then they could leave. The 6 people that put their hands up and said, "I want to leave this island," were able to leave that island. And it looked like it was hopeful, and they were going to keep it a secret for the rest of the people on the island. It looked like the perfect solution so that they could finally leave. But the aftermath of this is where everything goes a little bit wrong. As Jack and Kate seemingly looked together, and they looked like they were going to be the future and have a family together, and it was going to be wonderful with Aaron and everything like that. However, this is where it gets a little bit weird, because Jack then, on returning, gets addicted to painkillers, can't deal with the guilt of leaving the mother behind of Claire, of the actual, she's the mother of Aaron, in which he feels a little bit guilty on that point of view, and really can't look Aaron in the eye and say, like, and take him under their wing as their son, and see Kate as the mother to that child. It's really hard for him to deal with that. And it's really hard for him to deal with his lie that he and the rest of them created of that being Kate's son. And that messed with everybody's minds, as he then wanted to return to the island. He felt that that was the right thing to do. All his life has been going absolute skew with since he left that island. With Kate, Kate's a little bit different. Kate was able to move away from Jack with ease and was happy to leave him in the shadows. However, with Kate, she just couldn't move past the fact that she's raising a kid and it's not Claire that's raising that kid. And eventually she wants to go to the island at the last minute because she wants to go find Claire, the mother of her adopted son. I think that was the part where you go, okay, that makes a lot of sense. With Saeed, it is also a little bit different, because the person that he absolutely adored and carried a photo around with her, the person he loved, he eventually got with again, and then she died. And he then becomes broken. Saeed is not the same person we grew to love then. He's manipulated by Benjamin Linus into thinking that Charles Whitmore was behind this, even though he had nothing to do with this killing. And went as like a bounty hunter for Benjamin Linus, and then eventually just agrees to go back to the island simply for the fact that there's nothing left in his life to stay for. But then you're looking at the main person that gets affected by this, Hurley. Hurley on the island seemed to be the happy, fun, go-lucky kind of guy. And that all went a little bit out the window simply when they returned home. Because his life weren't great before the island, and it seemed to get better on the island. But there's 1 or 2 things that were very traumatic on the island, and now he sees their ghosts. 2 people that he absolutely loved and adored on the island, he was now seeing their ghosts everywhere. And he literally put himself in a mental asylum because he thought that he was going absolutely crazy. And he always said to Jack and said to other people that they should never have left the island. Then you're left with one left. The guy that didn't really leave, and he was massively affected when they left the island. And that was John Locke. John Locke was affected because the island was going into disarray. The time jumps and everything like that was going crazy when the island got moved. And he thought that bringing the others back might fix the island, and they should never have left. That was his point of view. The whole arc of his being is that we're meant to be here. Everything's meant to happen for a reason. And when they got put on that island and they left, he felt that the island went wrong because they'd left and wanted to bring them all back. However, when he arrived home from the island and wanted to get them all back to the island, one thing happened which led it down a dark path. And that was the fact that Benjamin Linus had John Locke killed before that he could actually put the gang back together and send them home. If you enjoy breaking down the exact moments where franchises, series changed for either the better, for the worse, then don't forget to subscribe, as this is Everything Changed, and you want to be alerted to our next episode. The survivors spent years trying to leave that island, but after realising that the island wasn't the problem, is the moment that everything changed, and probably not for the better.